Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening as the Speedway Alliance Racing League gets ready to rumble here this afternoon. This is their second race of the season, but it's their first race being broadcasted in for this season here on Peacemaker Gaming, as each and every one of these drivers will look to try to park their race cars up and into the Volusia Speedway Park victory lane here this evening. As Braddy Ash says she's cheering on the number 71 ride and the 711. Is it the 71 or the 711? There's a few drivers that are going to have, fairly similar looking numbers out there, and obviously we got a pair of Daniel Georges out there. So Braddy, you're going to have to let us know. I'm assuming one's a junior and one's a senior. I'm assuming this is a father-son, Daniel George and Daniel George, here this evening. One's in the 711, one is in the 71 ride. 71 right there, that is Daniel George, which is the 71, and the other George in there is the 711 ride. As Carson Cherry in the chat says, I want that number 20 to do good. And she says, both, cheered on both of them. It took me a minute to realize that they were both Daniel Georges in the 71 and the 711 ride. We got a couple fours out there as well with Jacob Hefner in the 4 ride and RJ Murphy also in a number 4 out there on the racetrack, so we'll try to make sure we don't confuse them too much out there on the speedway. Shouldn't be too bad, especially with this fancy looking, green chrome ride of Mr. Murphy out there on the speedway, so we should be able to differentiate him from the other 4 of Jacob Hefner fairly easy here this evening. They're both in those asphalt Camaros, as all these race cars, these factory stocks, they are built for asphalt here on iRacing. iRacing has dirt street stocks. All they have is the Camaro. That's all they have. All they have is the Camaro. They don't have these Monte Carlos. They don't have the, the other cars that you can run here in this series. They have a lot of them there for the factory stocks in asphalt, but now these drivers, they want the Montes out there. They want those Metro chassis out there on the racetrack, so they've converted these asphalt race cars into dirt track race cars, and it's going to make for a lot of fun. Obviously, setups are going to be a little bit different, going to be a little bit harder to kind of control and to kind of get under wraps, but these guys have done a really good job at it, and they look strong out there. They look really well set in, real fast. We'll have to wait and see what they look like more door to door and beating and banging, as we'll see if the asphalt side of things will mess with these race cars a little bit. But we'll get ready to watch these drivers jump out there in just a little bit, as I do believe we'll be hopping right into our heat races, right into our heat races after this. So drivers, no qualifying, so random pill draw heat races. They'll be, luck of the draw to see where they get placed, where they get the start here this evening. They want to move forward, try to put themselves into a good position to try and pick up a big, run in that heat race. Give yourself a good starting spot for this main feature event, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll here in just a few more moments to see the 14C ride. So this is the 14C machine of Anthony Cordray out there as well. Cordray ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out. We still see both Daniels out there, as Daniel George in the 711 and Daniel George in the 71 back there in 10th and 16th here in this practice session, where drivers are going to get the opportunity here to kind of work on those race cars, work on those setups, make sure that they are absolutely perfect and ready to rock and roll here for this feature event. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be very interesting to see how these guys are going to be able to handle the action here this evening. And a huge shout out to Hyper Performance and Davis Print and Press Company, our sponsors here for the series in the Speedway Alliance Racing League. Huge shout out there to them. We wouldn't be able to make this possible without their help and without the amazing support and help of each and every one of these amazing drivers. As this practice session quickly comes to a close here, only just under a minute left to go here, minute and a half left to go. This is gonna get real fun, real quick. So make sure you get your drinks, your popcorn, and get ready for a show here this evening from Volusia, because this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be an absolutely amazing show, an absolutely amazing race, right from the drop of the green flag down to the checkered flag here in this one, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Obviously, these are a lot of drivers that I personally haven't seen out there on the racetrack, so it'll be interesting to see kind of their craft out there on the racetrack, where these guys are going to be able to kind of move around and find lanes and see who's going to be, the drivers that are going to be a little bit more aggressive than the other drivers, who's going to have that speed, who's going to have things kind of figured out and working into their favor. Is Carson in the chat says, I hope to do decent. Got a memorial wrap on. A memorial wrap here this afternoon. Oh, baby, we can't wait to see that out there on the racetrack and see if, Carson in his beautiful race car can put himself up into the top three, maybe getting himself a win here this evening. We'll have to see what Carson can do out there on the racetrack, as we'll get them all ready to rumble here. This practice session, it has come to a close, so these drivers are going to start to head down pit side. They're going to start rolling off the racetrack, and we'll start to get ready for our first heat race of the day. Aaron Witham. Aaron Witham right now with the quick time here in this practice session. RJ Murphy currently sits in second with Sebastian Rios Davis in position number 3. Stephen Bott there in position number 4 with James Williams rounding out our top 5 here in that practice session, as the drivers will head down pit side. We'll get ready to rumble for heat race number 1. Woo, baby! All right, you guys came here for a show. Well, here you go, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble. I do believe, let me double check here. Looks like we're going to be doing 3 heat races. Top 5 will transfer through into our A main feature event. Everybody else will go to our consolation race. Now, there was 17 drivers loaded into the sim, so they may be able to skip past that consolation race and move straight on in to the A main feature event here this evening. But we're going to get ready to set them loose, as the number 5 ride is going to start on the pole position here. I do believe 5 ride, that is Magnum Tate. What a name, Magnum Tate, in that Justin Brooks Designs number 5 ride will start in the pole position. To his outside will be the number 4 of Jacob Hefner. Starting in position number 3 out there on the speedways, the 13 ride of Holden Anderson. To his outside will be the 71 of Daniel George. Starting in the 5th position in the number 20 ride, that is Sebastian Rios Davis. To his outside, the 7 is James Burke Jr. And bringing up the rear of the field in the number 4, that is the 1-800 Hot Moms. Doing it for the legend, the beautiful number 4 ride, that is Carson Cherry, who will be starting here at the rear of the field in heat race number 1. So 7 drivers, top 5 will transfer through to the A main feature event. Unfortunately, everybody else will go to our consolation races, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. Now, if you guys do run into any connection issues or anything else, just let me know. We shouldn't run into any. Our internet seems to be all right, but we do have a winter storm right now, and as I look out my window, there is a ton of snow going down. So if for some reason we do run into internet connection issues or anything else, just be on the whereabouts is that of that is. This is a heat race. This is a heat race. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Speedway Alliance Racing League into battle, as down through 1 and out of 2. A little bit of rubbing and scrubbing there for our pole sitter and outside pole sitter, but leading us just by half a nose down the back straightaway. It is that number 5 ride, but out of corner 4, Jacob Hefner able to put his foot to the throttle, powers down and puts that 4 ride out in front. Magnum Tate will slide back into position number 2 out there on the racetrack, as Holden Anderson sits in 3rd. Sebastian Rios Rios Davis rounds out our top fours. He's looking to try to work himself forward as James Burke back there in 5th. Right now in that final transfer spot into the show, Carson Cherry follows in line back behind him in that 6th position. And then we see Daniel George in the 71 back there in 7th. Unfortunately, 2 drivers here will go to our consolation race this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see who those drivers may be, but as of right now, we still get a battle back out in front as Magnum Tate looks to take the race lead back away as he's able to get back up in front and clear that number 4 of Jacob Hefner. Hefner, we did see get into the outside fence last time down into corner number 1, but now rolls reverse. He gets to the inside of that 5 ride, looks to put that Bauer down, and it looks like he's gonna pull the slide job, but just barely clears the nose of the 5 machine. They'll continue to battle, beating and banging here for the race lead, and now they start to beat and bang. Here comes that 13 of Holden Anderson. Holden right into the battle, the 13 ride. He is there and he is ready to party. And now here comes the 20, Sebastian Rios Davis. He's going to slide up in front of that 13 ride as they're still door to door for the race lead as we quickly are clipping these laps off here in this first heat race of the day is back down across the line. We will see the white flag fly. So the final time around here in heat race number 1 as Jacob Hefner leads the way. Magnum Tate gets to the inside. They're going to be door to door down into 3. Beating and banging. They're battling back to the line. And it is Jacob Hefner who's able to hold on and hold off Magnum Tate is Tate will wreck there after the checkered flag. He'll come home in 2nd. Sebastian Rios Davis will come home in position number 3. Holden Anderson and Carson Cherry round out our top 5 as James Burke Jr. and Daniel George will go to our consolation races. But man, what a heat race. What a show that these guys just put on for us, man. That was intense. That was amazing, man. These guys really came out to battle here this evening, and that looked like a ton of fun as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here for heat race number 2. Heat race number 2 is going to line up like this. Starting on the pole in the number 18 machine, that is Nate Friesen to his outside, and the 4 ride is RJ Murphy. Starting in position number 3 in the number 15, that is Thomas Thies. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Thomas Thies in position number 3 here this evening. To his outside in the 7-11, that is Daniel George with Anthony Cordray and Corey Silby. Corey Silby. Good to see Silby out there on the racetrack. Actually, Corey, we've seen Corey in these street stocks many times before, normally in the real dirt street stocks. And now tonight, he's dipped his toes back into the action. And for that Midwest Fence 999 ride, back out there on the racetrack. This time in the asphalt street stocks, he's in that money. And he's hoping to try to find the money as he's looking to try to drive his way up to the front of the field. As Carson Cherry says, Jesus, 2 weeks in a row, I start in the back. Yeah, that's tough break right there, brother. You're going to have to pay the pill draw lady off. You're going to have to maybe hand her a little extra money, a little extra cash on the side here to try and make sure that, maybe you get a better pill draw next week. What a finish. Yeah, that was a crazy finish right there, man. That was a ton of fun, and we may be in store to see that a couple more times here in these heat races and throughout our feature event this afternoon. Is Nate Friesen, RJ Murphy gonna get ready to see that green flag fly as the pace car makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit road, and here we go. Contact already. Look out, RJ Murphy on his side, almost upside down, nowhere to go for the 999 of Corey Silby. Let's take a look here at this start because things happened way too quick here in this one. So he's getting a little bit of a shove. Let's see if we get another angle. So the 7-11 is all over his back bumper, and right here gets a good launch. He's on the back bumper of the 4 ride. Unfortunately, kind of just jacks him up, gets up into the outside fence, lose all that speed momentum, and they all kind of just follow through in the gas. And look at the 4 ride. Oh, man, that thing was so close to going over. Luckily enough, able to stay on all 4 tires, but man, that is a heartbreaker for not only R.J. Murphy, but also for Corey Sibley. But Sibley able to keep on battling in that 5th position, so he's in a transfer spot as R.J. Murphy finds himself parked down pit side. Is out in front and running away with it. It is this 18 machine. Nate Friesen is absolutely a rocket ship. He is pulling away here, down across the line, halfway marker here in heat race number 2. And Nate Friesen finds himself 2.3 seconds in front of our second place battle as the 15 ride of Thomas Thies. Thies trying to hang on to that second spot on the racetrack. Daniel George right there with him. You see that damage on the front end and a little bit on the back end there for the number 711 ride. Luckily enough, not too much damage. He's able to keep on battling, but may just not have enough here to try to catch up to that 15 machine as Anthony Cordray right there in 4th. And then we see Corey Sibley about half a track behind those guys, stacked back in position number 5. And unfortunately for RJ Murphy, he will have to go to our consolation race if it is not advanced here this afternoon. He will have to battle for one of the final playoff or race positions here this afternoon, trying to advance his way into the A-Main feature event. For the 5 that are still rolling, they are good to go in for the final lap here in heat race number 2. The 18 ride just on a little Sunday cruise here, back down across the line, almost 3 seconds between him and Thomas Thies as Nate Friesen will pick up heat race win number 2. Thomas Thies will come home in 2nd with Daniel George in the 711. They're in 3rd. Anthony Cordray and Corey Sibley will round out our top 5. RJ Murphy will be the one driver not to advance into the A-Main feature event, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to rumble here. Heat race number 3 is about to get underway. So heat race number 3 is going to line up like this. In the number 147 is Stephen Bott. Bott will start in position number 1 with James Williams starting there in 2nd. Starting back in position number 3 will be the number 216 of Aaron Witham. Witham will start there in 3rd. To his outside, the 9 ride, that is Ashton Higgins. Starting back in position number 5 in the beautiful Camaro out there on the racetrack, the 0-0, that is Trevor McCoy, who will start back there in position number 5. And to his outside in the 12 is Jordan Brinkley. So 6 drivers once again, and here 5 more will punch their ticket straight on through to the A-Main feature event. The other driver, that 6th driver out there on the racetrack, may be in a bad position, may have to join, a few other drivers for that consi, which I do believe we're probably going to skip that consolation race. We should probably roll into our A-Main feature event right after this heat race, but we'll have to wait and see, if they do still have to run it, it may just be more of a formality, or there may be 1 or 2 drivers that will be eliminated here from the rest of the racing action, will not join us for that A-Main feature event. Now, we're hoping that the latter does not happen. We want to see all these drivers out there, every one of them, to have a chance to try to find victory lane. As here we go. Heat race number 3 about to get underway. The official iRacing pace truck will make that hard left-hand turn. And for Stephen Bott, down and out of corner number 4, he will see that green flag fly as here we go, quickly onto the loud pedal again here at Volusia Speedway Park. As Stephen trying to keep himself out in front, slides up the racetrack is, man, there's a few of those Monte Carlos up here looking absolutely fresh here this afternoon. Is there some contact there between the 216? Look out, Trevor McCoy upside down. McCoy goes for a wild wreck here on the front straightaway. Oh no, he had moved his way up. He was looking to try to work his way up and inside. I do believe this is going to be, he's trying to work himself inside the top 3 right here. There's contact between the 216 and the 34. Now the 34 is trying to hang on to it, not trying to put himself into the outside fence. Kind of cuts down the racetrack there, sideways, bounces into the 0-0. Puts him over the nose of that number 9 rider. Man, look at that upside down into the infield catch fence and goes for a wild ride. Heavy damage as well for that 34 of James Williams, as Williams will be positioned back in position number 5, but unfortunately for Trevor McCoy, that's 2 back-to-back heat races where that one driver just runs into misfortune, almost goes airborne or goes upside down, and all of a sudden parked down pit side, and will unfortunately join us for our consolation races here this evening as Stephen Bott out in front, the 147 trying to hang on to the race lead, the 216 of Aaron Witham's trying to hang on, not only to battle for the race lead, but also just trying to keep Jordan Brinkley back there at bay. Now that Brinkley and the 216 wash up, here comes that 9 ride. Ashton Higgins quickly shoots down to the inside. That little bit of right front damage is not going to hold him back. He's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it right now and try to put himself into a good spot here in heat race number 3. But Brinkley, good run down low. He's going to shoot down to the inside and slide up in front of the 9 machine. As they head down across the line, they'll see that white flag fly. So one more time around here for this 3rd heat race of the day, and things are heating back up for that 2nd position as Stephen Bott out in front. He is going to win heat race number 3, but the heat is on back here, and it looks like Brinkley will hold on to position number 2. Ashton Higgins will come home in 3rd with Aaron Witham there in 4th. James Williams will round out our top 5, but it was all the 147 as he's able to pick up the 3rd heat race win of the day. As Carson says, holy, he says, yeah, holy is right. Wow, what a ride, what a rumble right there for that 0-0 machine at Trevor McCoy. But hey, lucky break here. No consolation races, no consies here. These drivers are going to get an opportunity, each and every one of them, to battle and compete here in this A-Main feature event. Nobody is going to go home early this afternoon, and that's something we love to hear. Is now drivers going to get an opportunity to jump out there onto the racetrack, make sure that their cars are absolutely hooked up perfectly here for this A-Main feature event, and we'll get ready here to let them rumble as a quick warm-up session to make sure their cars are absolutely perfect and absolutely ready to rock and roll here this evening. As we're going to get a quick drink into us, then we're going to be right into the battle here in just a couple more moments. So don't go anywhere, because you do not want to miss our A-Main feature event here in just a couple more moments.
Kick dust, night rush, white lines, head crush, let's go! Let's go! Boots in the clay, pit lane prayers, sun going down, floodlights glare, tape on the number, scars on the frame. We don't chase money, we chase the same flame. Fuel on our hands, grit in our teeth, talking the trailer, war underneath, open bumper, stories in steel. You don't think cleaner, you don't think real. Speedway Alliance, we ride that edge. Dirt track racing the way it's supposed to be. Slide that tail, hang the throttle off the ledge. Wide open hearts, spinning in the heat. Speedway Alliance, kick up the dust. If you ain't sideways, you ain't with us. Dirt track racing the way it's supposed to be. This is our league, our creed, our speed. supposed to be. Slide that tail, hang the throttle off the ledge. Wide open hearts, spinning in the heat. Speedway Alliance, kick up the dust. If you ain't sideways, you ain't with us. Dirt track racing the way it's supposed to be. This is our league, our creed, our speed. Under the cautions, we circle slow, facing the visor, nobody knows. Praying that setup will finally bite. Ready to gamble it all on one night, one night, one night. Speedway Alliance, we ride that edge. Dirt track racing the way it's supposed to be. Slide that tail, hang the throttle off the ledge. Wide open hearts, spinning in the heat. Speedway Alliance, kick up the dust. If you ain't sideways, you ain't with us. Good track racing the way it's supposed to be. This is our league, our creed, our speed, kick up the dust. We'll live in the haze. Speedway Alliance, built for these days.
Woo! Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go, as our main feature event is about to get underway. And for these drivers, they are going to be duking it out here, looking and trying to put themselves up and in to victory lane here this evening, as this is going to be, I do believe, a 20-lap main feature event. 20 laps to duke it out and to try and put yourself up and into victory lane here this evening. So this is going to be a ton of fun, chat. This is going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of tight, tough racing, lap after lap after lap. And for each and every one of these drivers, it is going to be edge of your seat, making sure you don't make a mistake, making sure you always try and put yourself into the best position to move forward and try and put yourself up and in to victory lane here this evening. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble, as leading us to the green flag will be the 4 ride of Jacob Hafner. Hafner will lead us to the green flag here this evening. To his outside will be that number 18 of Nate Friesen. Starting in position number 3 is the 147 of Stephen Bott. To his outside, the 5 ride, that is Magnum Tate. Starting in position number 5 in the number 15, that is Thomas Thies. To his outside will be the 12 of Jordan Brinkley. Starting in 7th is Sebastian Rios Davis, and to his outside in the 7-11, it is Daniel George. Ashton Higgins will start there in 9th in the number 9 ride. To his outside, the 13 ride is, I do believe, Holden Anderson, rounding out our top 10. Anthony Cordray will start there in position number 11. To his outside will be the 216 machine of Aaron Witham. Witham will start there in 12th. Then we see that number 4 ride of Carson Cherry back in 13th. To his outside will be the 999 of Corey Sibley. The 34 of James Williams will start in 15th with, I believe, the 00 Trevor McCoy. To his outside, RJ Murphy back there in 17th, and it will be the 71 of Daniel George, who will bring up the rear of the field here in our main feature event, as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing here from Volusia Speedway Park, as the Speedway Alliance Racing League is here to do duke it out for 20 laps of action this afternoon. And already we see some of that action. Look out, drivers, watch up the racetrack. Down and out of corner number 4, they're still bouncing off one another. Look out, 12 right hard up into the outside fence. There's our first caution flag of the day. Heavy hit right there for Jordan Brinkley. And unfortunately, looks like Thomas Thies also going to go around in that Hawkeye drunken number 15 ride. So let's take a look back and see what happened, because there was a lot of action going on, but these two were battling inside the top 10. Down the back straightaway and into corner number 3. Looks like the 147 gets tight, washes up the racetrack, unfortunately, into that 12 ride of Jordan Brinkley. And all of a sudden, as they exit corner number 4, they find themselves 3-4 wide, and there's contact. It was bound to happen right there. You can't go 4 wide here at Volusia. Unfortunately, shoots that 13 ride down into the 216. Then, unfortunately for the 13, washes back up the racetrack. Nothing Holden Anderson could really do. And nowhere for the 12 ride of Jordan Brinkley to go, as he gets contact again and up hard into that outside fence. And then we did see, the 15 ended up on his lid here. So he goes around as well. Looks like he gets a little bit of help from the 9. I do believe that is Ashton Higgins. Gonna get in here. The 15 slideways almost going around himself, and just that little bit of contact, man. It seems like these things are light on their toes, and they will go over with a little extra persuasion. Does not take much, and unfortunately for the 15 ride, goes up and over. Luckily enough, back on it all. 4 will able to keep on battling here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing after our first caution flag of the day. So our first yellow flag displayed here this evening, and now for each and every one of these drivers, what do you got in store for us, man? What do you got for a game plan? How do you find your way either back up to the front or to keep yourself up here in the battle at the front of the field? For Jacob Hefner, he's just looking for a big restart, trying to make sure that he gets an extra bit of a launch, make sure that he opens up a couple car lengths between himself, Magnum Tate, Sebastian Rios Davis, and that 18 ride of Nate Friesen, as we'll get them all ready to rumble. We should see the official iRacing pace truck, I believe, next time by. We'll turn its lights off, and that means we will get the 1-2 go, this time by the start-finish line. So these drivers will be ready to rumble here again. They just need to hit their marks. They need not to make any mistakes, and hopefully try and put themselves into a winning situation late in this one. And for right now, Jacob Hefner sitting in the prime position out in front, just needs to hit this restart absolutely perfectly right here. He cannot allow that 18 ride of Friesen to stay on his back bumper, or really for the 14 ride of Magnum Tate to be able to get to his outside. Well, it's the 5 ride of Tate there in that Meg and Tate Auto Parts number 5 ride here this evening. As here we go back to green flag racing. Green flag quickly back into the air for Hefner. Hefner does get a great launch. Good restart right there. Clears the 5 ride down through 1 and out of 2. Hoping to get a car length or 2 between himself and the Monte Carlos that are back there in line, trying to hunt him down. As Magnum Tate trying to reel back to his rear bumper, as there's contact once again. They're 3-4 wide down the front straightaway. Somehow or another they make it through there, but look out for Carson Cherry, already up 9 positions, now into position number 4. Almost stole that 3rd spot away from Nate Friesen. Friesen was able to get back around him, but here we go. The 4 ride back down to the inside. We're going to see a bit of a slide job out of that 4 ride, but can't quite clear the 18, so they'll stay door to door as our race leaders run into a little bit of lap traffic, but there is the caution flags. It looks like heavy damage here for the 13 ride, Holden Anderson, the 71 of Daniel George, tied together, and unfortunately some pretty solid damage here for both of them. Let's take a look back and see what happened. So I think George runs into his first, so Daniel George back here in that 71 ride gets loose, washed up the racetrack, tries to save it. Unfortunately, car shoots down to the infield, and man, just hits that infield fence right at the opening, worst place you could hit it, and it just absolutely tears that car apart, and it comes to virtually a dead stop. Next time around, basically back behind the 71, that's where we're going to see issues here for that 13 ride of Holden Anderson, is again, looks like 2, almost 3 wide down and out of corner number 4, and they just run out of room. 13 gets tagged, goes upside down, goes around, and Luckily enough, after that car finally comes to a rest, lands on all four tires, able to keep on rolling. But man, that was another crazy ride here for one of these drivers. Man, these cars just seem to bounce around, man. It's like they're dinky cars out there on the racetrack. No weight in these things at all. Let's see if we can jump on board, because this is just how tight it is here throughout the pack. So we're on board here with Holden Anderson. Right there, almost 3 wide, thinks better of it, then gets put into 3 wide. Tag turned upside down he goes, and this is a sight you never want to see as a race car driver, and that is staring at the ground beneath you and not having your car on all 4 tires. And unfortunately, there for Holden, found out the hard way, as we do see Daniel George still down pit side trying to get his car fixed back up and back out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, lights are off the official iRacing pace truck, so he's going to have to be quick here this evening as Caster plays. What's good, Caster? Comes in showing the love as well, says, yo, 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 what is up, mister? How are you? How you see your day going? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day, as ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are enjoying the racing action, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and here we go. Back to Green Flag Racing as Jacob Hefner, another good restart. He's able to clear he's able to clear Magnum Tate once again, but Tate all over his back bumper, and here comes Nate Friesen looking to try to bounce back from it. Makes a little contact there with Tate, trying to hang on to that 18 run as here comes Cherry to the outside. Here comes Sebastian Rios Davis. Unfortunately, little contact there for Rio Davis. Gets washed up the track, has to hang on to it, has to roll out of that throttle, but he will be saved. Maybe a spot or two right there as the caution flag will come back out. So caution will be displayed here once again, as this time looks like the 34 of James Williams going to run into some issues. Contact right there on the back straightaway. And oh! Hits the opening. Nowhere to go. The 4 line gets in there as well. That's a big hit right there for a couple of these drivers. This is not an easy hit, and it all starts back here in corner number 1 and 2. See if we can get another look at it. So there's going to be a little contact here. Not sure if it's Sibley who may get up into him, or if he gets a little tight trying to avoid the 7-11 of Daniel George right there in front of him. That's exactly what happens. He gets a little tight trying to roll the throttle, not wanting to run into the back end of that 7-11 ride. Pushes him up the racetrack and then down and out of corner number 2. He's sideways there, 2-3 wide. The 0-0 tries to get around him. Unfortunately, they make contact, and it shoves that 34 right back up into the outside fence. And here on the track opening, there's a wall right there, and it's at a weird angle, and unfortunately we've seen it time and time again here at Fallujah when drivers kind of just get into that little bit of an opening right there. You hit that wall, and you can see how it's angled. You don't come to a dead stop. You don't continue on with traffic. It bounces you right back into the lap of the cars behind you. And unfortunately, the 13 ride of Holden Anderson and the number 4 of RJ Murphy, nowhere for them to go as they get a big piece of it here. Let's see if we can get a look on board with this number 4 ride of RJ Murphy, as Murphy, he's a little farther back here. He's a little bit farther back. He's just trying to work his way through it and trying to keep himself out of trouble. So he heads down through corner number 3 and 4. Actually, this is under the caution. Let's play this back a little bit. All right, here we go. Should play it forward. Why is it going so far back here? Interesting. All right, well, doesn't want to show that part of it, so we'll have to get another look at it at a different time. But as of right now, we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As Caster says, I'm good. How about you? Caster plays, man, I'm always doing good, brother. I'm always doing good, especially when I'm up here in the booth. Get to watch some amazing racing action and get to hang out with all the fans in the stands here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As Jacob Hefner, he's been hitting these restarts. He's looked really, really strong. But, man, he's got to make sure that he can try to work his way around that 5 right on these restarts. You cannot leave the 5 right a lane on the outside. And there we go. Another good restart right there for the 4 machine. He's able to clear him down into corner number 1. This is exactly what that 4 machine needs, but right there, oh, the 5 is trying everything he can to stay to that right rear quarter panel. Unfortunately, couldn't quite stick there down the back straightaway, and for the 4 of Jacob Hefner, he will lead another lap here at Volusia Speedway Park, but look out as they are beating and banging. Back here behind him, trying to work their way into the battle, and look at who is there. It is the 4 of Carson Cherry. Cherry started all the way back, I do believe, in position number 13 here this evening, and now for the 4 ride finds himself in second place out there on the racetrack. Man, he has been a man on a mission, up 11 positions since the start of this feature event, and he may not be done yet as he's looking to go after Jacob Hefner for the race lead as we hit the halfway marker here in this A main feature event. As Carson Cherry rolls there in second, Magnum Tate back in third. Sebastian Rios Davis there in position number 4, door to door here with Nate Friesen as Friesen looking to stay in that battle, and here comes that 0-0 of Trevor McCoy. McCoy right into the battle looking for a top 5 as here comes Ashton Higgins, James Burke, Jordan Brinkley trying to race his way up towards the front here. They're beating and banging, they're battling back here, and there's some contact. Oh, look out, hang on to it. Ashton Higgins had a wheel fall down through 3 and 4. Somehow or another able to hang on to it, keep that thing pointing the right direction. Corey Sibley now going to poke his nose into that battle, and there is that 147 of Stephen Bont as well, right there, ready to rumble, ready to poke his nose into the fun, but out in front, door to door for the race lead. Carson Cherry is looking to take it away. Jacob Hefner, though, trying to hang on to it. Does not want to give up the top spot. There's contact. They're leaning on each other, but down and out of corner number 4, it is Carson Cherry who takes the race lead away from Jacob Hefner. So Cherry back out in front. This number 4 ride now has the race lead, looking to keep the other 4 ride of Jacob Hefner back there at bay for the next 5 laps of racing action. It is 5 laps left to go here from Volusia as Magnum Tate trying to hang on to that 3rd and final podium finish with Nate Friesen and Trevor McCoy, our top 5 out there on the speedway. But out in front, they are not done yet. More contact, more beating and banging here for the race lead. As Cherry gonna have to do everything he can to keep Jacob Hefner and the rest of the field back there at bay. He's just hoping that he can try to keep this car length or 2 between himself and that 4 ride back behind him, and hoping that potentially we do not see a caution flag. He wants to see this stay clean and green. A caution flag brings all that stress, all that intensity, and a big restart with drivers to your inside, your outside, and door to door here late in this race. You do not want to see that happen. So for the 4 machine, he's just trying to get this race done as quickly as possible as Daniel George does run into some issues, and there is the caution flag. Oh no, yellow flag is displayed here as it looks like Daniel George in the 71 potentially going to run into some more problems. Some drivers in front of him having issues as well. Take a look here. So it looked like Stephen Bont had taken his car back down pit road. 13 ride here, smoking quite heavily. Looks like he's got something under the hood going wrong with that 13 ride, and unfortunately here the bottom ain't gonna fall out of it. He shoots down to pit road. Daniel George looks like he may have had some engine failure as well, and for the 71 comes to a stop here on the front straightaway just as our race leaders go by. Unfortunately, as he was stopped there on the racing surface, that brings out the caution flag as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Looks like Stephen Bont will get the wave around right there. That should get him, I do believe, a lap back, but I do believe still potentially a lap down or back on the lead lap here this evening. But for Carson Cherry, he's going to get ready to see a big restart right here. Now, it's the first time he has been the control car for a restart. He's got to make sure that he keeps that number 4 Hefner, Magnum Tate, and Nate Friesen kind of flat-footed right here. He's got to play some mind games with them here and try to make sure that they, make a mistake and slip up here in this feature event, because that's going to make things very, very fun. If he can hold them off, but man, if he makes a mistake, if he slips up anytime out there on the racetrack, it's going to allow these guys to, take advantage of it and shove their cars in there where normally they wouldn't, but for the race win, any one of these guys, man, they'd wreck their own mom for a checkered flag out there on the racetrack. So don't think twice that they will not shove it in there, that they will not make a big move to try to steal this win away from you. And if you're Carson Cherry, you got that, memorial paint scheme here this evening. I believe it's Gary Steele on board with them. In memory of Gary Steele, man, shout out there to Carson having a beautiful tribute paint scheme and memorial paint scheme on board with that for ride here this evening. And obviously has Gary on board with them and hoping to bring this car up and into victory lane. As here we go, restart, our potential final restart of the day as the green flag is in the air for Carson Cherry. Cherry sees that green flag fly. Now I do believe this may be a one-lap shootout here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look and see when that checker flag gets displayed, because Carson Cherry out in front, able to hit that restart perfectly, and this is our checker flag. So for the four ride of Carson Cherry, it was a one-lap shootout. It was single file, and he played his cards perfectly to put himself up and in to victory lane here at Volusia Speedway Park. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for the Speedway Alliance Racing League and all these amazing drivers. As man, they put on an absolute amazing race for us, man. That was a ton of fun, and now we get to watch this Ford machine of Carson Cherry celebrate on the front straightaway, picking up a massive win here this afternoon as we'll get ready to pull our top three up and into the booth for their post-race interviews. As Carson, man, he's gonna be pumped up about this one, back up and into victory lane. This is gonna be a lot of fun to see, kind of what their thoughts, their outputs are going to be here in this one. Let's see if we can get these drivers in here. I'm going to join the general. I just hope other drivers don't join it as of yet. I don't have a locked drivers channel in here. I think this is Carson. Let's pull Carson up here right now. I don't have permissions to drag people. Okay, so we need those. Hey, Carson, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Oh, yes, sir, I do.
Carson, man, what a run, what a race, man. It's been a little while since we saw you back out there on the racetrack, but, man, it looks like you've only gotten better with time, and here you are out on the racetrack, navigating your way through traffic, beating and banging, grinding your way to the front. Finally, you get there. You got a battle with Jacob Hefner, and in those closing laps, you steal the race lead away from him. You're just hoping not to see that late race caution flag, and luckily enough for you, single file, no door-to-door action for that restart. You're able to get the perfect launch, and that's all you needed for the one-lap shootout to find yourself up and into victory lane here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind after an amazing night of racing action?
Oh, man, I was testing out a new system for setup, and this entire week it wasn't working, and I loaded in. I didn't even do anything in practice. I was doubting myself in practice, and then Sebastian hit me up, or I hit Sebastian. I was like, "Hey man, you're fast. Like slide me your set, and whatever I change, I'll give it to you, and whatever." So he sent me his set. All I did was change a gear, and the heat race, it was a little bit of a struggle. For some reason, I've been starting in the back each week, and started 7th, something between Burke and I can't remember who else happened. I couldn't get past Burke until like lap 5, and then until then, they were already straight away ahead, and all I could do was reel them in. But starting 13th, man, that was rough. I was sitting in Discord with my friends. I was like, man, I'm really tired of starting in the back. It's gonna suck. And then lap 2 happened, and I was sitting in 7th. I was like, man, I can get used to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can, gain those huge chunks kind of right at the get-go with issues in front of you, and you're able to avoid some big hits and big wrecks out there on the racetrack, man, definitely helps propel you that much closer to the front of the field, but it made it a little less, work for you out there on the racetrack throughout that, early to middle portion of this feature event, and it gave you just enough time here to really go after that 4-ride of Hefner for the race win.
Yeah, the car kept kind of getting a little bit loose off exit, and counter steering it. It felt like I was just kind of like chasing the car up, and I was still struggling off speed. I could have been faster, um, but I got into that 5 car or the Magnum Tate. I got into him a little bit and feel bad about it. I sent him a PM before he left, and then I got up to Hefner and uh, I watched him bobble a couple times in 1 and 2, and he couldn't hit it just right. And then whenever he would bobble in 1 and 2, he'd mess up in 3 and 4. And all I got to do was wait, and he bobbled, and I went after it. And after that, it was just a little bit of a slugfest. And then that caution came out, and it saved me.
Yeah, absolutely. As he bobbled there, as he made that mistake, you were able to just jump right on top of it and steal this win away from him this afternoon. But Carson, man, a heck of a show, heck of a race here at Volusia Speedway Park, and for the first time here on Peacemaker Gaming with the Speedway Alliance Racing League, man, you guys put on an absolutely amazing show.
Thank you, man. I definitely had somebody riding with me. I don't know if you were able to look at the hood at all, but I was talking to Gary last night, and uh, he gave the unfortunate news yesterday that his dad had passed. So I figured I would do my part and at least make it not easier, because it'll never be easier, but lift the spirits a little bit. And I talked to him. I saw or figured out who his dad's favorite driver were, found a picture of him, and remade the car and put in memory of him and on the hood. And without that, I don't think I would have been able to climb 12 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked like Gary Steele there was on board with you here tonight, man, or at least up in the grandstands cheering you on, because, man, the car looked great. It was absolutely awesome. We always love to see, such special paint schemes find their way up and into victory lane, and no fitting better way to start the series than with an amazing race, an amazing finish like that one with Gary on board with you this afternoon, man. As Carson, heck of a show, heck of a run out there. Anyone else you'd like to thank for great performance this afternoon?
Yeah, I want to thank my mom and dad. They've given me a lot and allowed me to do this a lot. So them two are saviors and saints. I want to thank Mitch, for allowing me to be fat guy number 2, and we have our own little fat guy stuff going on. And I also want to thank Sebastian. I mean, without Sebastian, I wouldn't have had that setup, and I wouldn't have been able to climb 12 spots. I want to thank Addison. She's listening, and I really appreciate it. She didn't have to. And I just want to say thank you to Gary. I mean, even during a difficult time, he puts this on for us, and I just want him to know that I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our hearts and prayers go out to the entire Steele family, and man, hopefully this one, puts a little bit of a smile on their face. Maybe lets them escape the pain for a little bit by watching and cheering you on here this evening. Carson, congrats on the win here this afternoon, brother. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Sunday night, and hopefully see you potentially right back up here in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Mr. Carson Cherry, here this evening. Carson with a great run, great drive out there on the racetrack, parking himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Now, I don't have roles, so I can't drag anyone in the Discord, so that's what we'll have to fix here, in the future. But I don't see anyone else joining the broadcast waiting room, so unfortunately doesn't look like we'll get our second place driver or our third place driver into the booth here this afternoon. We'll see if we can get that figured out, get the Discord kind of figured out, so that way we can move drivers around if they are in the Discord, or if anything, try to make sure that we get our top 3 in here week after week after week. But shout out there to Jacob Hefner. Jacob, man, great run, great drive for that 4 ride, coming home in position number 2 here this evening, man. Put on a heck of a show for us out there on the racetrack, and a huge shout out to our third place finisher, the number 5 ride on the racetrack, Magnum Tate. Magnum with a great run, great drive there in our feature event this afternoon, coming home in third in that final podium position. And shout out to James Williams as well. James coming in, showing the love as well, hitting that subscribe button, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker family. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Takes only a couple seconds, helps us out a ton. Hit the like on the stream, hit that subscribe button for us, and make sure you drop a comment. Let us know what you thought of the broadcast. Let us know, who you're cheering for, who you want to see up and in victory lane. As we were supposed to have another broadcast here tonight, so you won't see us later. Unfortunately, it was canceled. Too many of the drivers, unfortunately, had lost power due to this big old winter storm that's moving through for us up here in Canada. We call that that's just another Tuesday. It ain't much up here. What's a couple feet of snow is absolutely nothing here for Canada, but down in the U.S., obviously a lot of infrastructure there not being able to handle it, not being up to the challenge, and obviously a lot of people without power, and hopefully everyone stays safe and warm. And if you don't have to be out on the roads, man, don't go out there. They're going to be bad, especially if a lot of those southern states that tend to not get snow or really cold weather. I mean, you guys don't get snow tires or anything else like we do up here in Canada. So, driving on slicks in the snow, man, it is not easy. It's like, wearing flip-flops and walking on ice. It's not easy. It's not fun, and you definitely don't want to be out there in bad conditions driving around with, summer tires on or anything else. But hopefully everyone stays safe. Hopefully everyone stays healthy, and we will see you guys back in here tomorrow night for some more amazing racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll be back to battle with our regular Monday night show tomorrow afternoon, and we can't wait to see each and every one of you back up in the broadcast booth, cheering those drivers on and enjoying the love here and some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out there to Speedway Alliance Racing League for having me come on board here, man. We can't thank them enough for having me as the broadcaster, and we can't wait to put on more amazing shows for all of you amazing fans in the stands. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll catch you all back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.